Welcome back, Halo followers. Today we have a lot of juicy Halo Infinite news, but also Halo 4. Its trailer came out for November 17th. It is coming soon to PC. Also, Sean W. interviewed an X343 contractor and had some really cool insight. There's new promotions as well as TV show news and just a bunch of different things to discuss. But guys, before we jump into it, be sure to smash that like button blue and subscribe here on HaloFollower for plenty more of your Halo news. This video is sponsored by Audible. Start your trial with Halo Shadows of Reach, the full audiobook for 30 days. Link down in the description. Alright, so first things first, Halo 4. The trailer came out on Halo Waypoint. You guys have probably seen it because it has a lot of views and it's just blowing up, but Halo 4, it's the last game coming to Halo MCC on PC. You know, we started our journey, over a year ago. Last year, it was in March when they confirmed Halo MCC was coming to PC when they canceled Halo Online. And here we are. This is the last game coming to PC and on MCC because essentially Halo 5 has been confirmed. It's not. Also, Sean W. So this happened about a week ago, but he got an interview with an X343 contractor. And Caleb actually talked about how it was to work at 343 Industries. There's nothing really juicy in here as far as what's going on, but I found it very intriguing, very interesting, and you certainly check it out. It's an hour of goodness. Also, there's new promo shirts. There's this is by the Billionaire Boys Club, and these are actually available to buy. In the first shirt is this one, just, white shirt with some weird, kind of artistic, indie design, I guess, on it. But this other one, everyone was saying, oh my god, this is an armor coating in Halo Infinite. And I was getting so worried because people were like, this looks so good. And I'm thinking, no offense to the person that made this, but I think this is probably one of the ugliest skins. I feel like it's almost a sin that this pattern is on Master Chief's armor. Like, I think this is so gross. I don't understand the appeal for it. But anyway, Unishek, a 343 community manager, confirmed that it's only a shirt design and drops tomorrow. But still, it's got me worried more about the armor coatings and what's exactly in store for us. Because if we're going to get armor coatings, anything remotely like this, then I'm going to be pretty pissed, all right? This is so... Ugh. So let's talk about the Halo TV show now. This has essentially been in development hell for many, many years. And it just started development like 2 years ago, and then it's had on and offs, and then they talked about the script. And it all seemed cool because we do have some story details like Soren, Master Chief's old friend that basically betrayed the UNSC and ran away, actually is going to be running into conflict with Master Chief. So this show is certainly really cool, and I'm looking forward to it. And it's going to be taking place, I think, in 25-30, something like that. So... yeah, it's going to be a long time before the Halo games actually take place here. But a big development is that they are back on set, and that actually, Scriber Pablo, or however you say his name, has confirmed that, yeah, we're back on set. We are working on the show, ever since everything has taken place, back in March. The thing. But also another big development is that because of that big thing, someone cannot play Cortana. So it appears that Jen Taylor, the voice actress for Cortana throughout all of Halo, will be playing not only Cortana, but also Dr. Halsey. So this is interesting, and I'm really looking forward to see how they play this one out. So now the centerpiece of this video, let's talk about Phil Spencer, the head of Xbox, explaining Halo Infinite's delay and development. So this is pretty juicy stuff here. He says in an interview with GameSpot, there's actually 2 interviews, we'll get into the second one soon. He says, sometimes what hits the press or certain things get announced internally have actually happened months before. He admits that the game's delay so soon after its gameplay reveal was unfortunate timing. It's not always accurate when these things line up. We did the feedback coming out of the July showcase event seriously, both on the date and what people were expecting from the game. He continues, it was a miss on our part, on my part, to open our July showcase with Halo Infinite, and then a couple weeks later have to move the date. So I think he just basically said there is that they did actually delay the game because of the feedback. At least that's what he seems to be implying, despite, 343 saying strongly that we're delaying the game because of you know what, and it's too stressful that employees are having to work at home, so they're just going to need more time. But it seems like it's a really big mix of both. And he goes on to say, I don't take the sentiment and emotion of our fans and our customers lightly. We set an expectation that here, this is something you're going to have at launch, and then we have to change that expectation not too much after our showing. That's a mistake. So I really have a lot of faith in Bonnie Ross and the team there having Joe and Pierre join, which they did late in summer. So one big thing there is that Bonnie Ross is confirmed still at 343. We know that there's been a big shakeup, with Chris Lee leaving recently, basically the head of the studio, right? That's pretty concerning, and he was a replacement for another head. I think it was Tim Longo that left, a year or two prior. So pretty concerning, but it seems like Bonnie Ross is still there. And he goes on to say, I feel good about where we are on that team. And he's referring to returning Halo veterans Joseph Staten and Perry Hitsey. And he also emphasizes the turnover in the industry is normal and expected. I don't have any specific concern about 343. I actually think in the long run, turnover is a healthy thing because, pay attention to this, we want people who are really motivated by the things that they're working on. So right there, pay attention to what he said. All right, so turnover is essentially when employees are replaced or have to leave a workplace. So yeah, I think he's basically hinting at the Chris Lee situation, and I wonder if that was maybe just a little bit of tease as to what happened with Chris Lee. Maybe he wasn't motivated enough, maybe he just wasn't the right person for the job, so they fired him, or maybe he just left. Who knows? I think this is the most information we're going to get on the studio of Halo leaving, with Chris Lee. So yeah, there it is. It seems like they just want to have a lot of Halo fans, people that are really focused on Halo, like Joseph Staten here, which, if you don't know, is like the grandfather of Halo. He wrote a lot of the original Halo games and directed the cutscenes and things like that. Yeah, I'm expecting that Joseph Staten has replaced Chris Lee as the head of the studio. That isn't confirmed yet, but I honestly expect that to be confirmed in like the next month. So this next part is pretty juicy. This is a separate interview with Phil Spencer on Shack News, and they talk about potentially the game releasing when I thought it was going to release this whole time, which is holiday 2021, and also a few other things, a little bit more insight as to what is going on at 343. So the interviewer said, I was disappointed like a lot of Xbox fans to learn of Halo Infinite's delay to 2021, and Spencer replied, I wanted Halo Infinite at launch. There was no doubt about that. And we thought there would have been a special, sentimental moment because the last time we shipped a Halo and a console at the same time was the original Xbox, when Bonnie Ross, head of Halo Infinite developer 343 Studios, and I were talking about it. There was something heartfelt about those two things coming together, but the safety and the health of the team has got to be the first and foremost, and then the quality of the game. Those things have to win over anything else. So he basically just summed it up there, right there at the end, that this is really important to make sure that the team is safe, that the team is, not stressing out a whole lot, because we saw that back in March on Waypoint, and we saw that with like the letter of delaying the game to, on Twitter and on social media, that the game's been pushed back to 2021. And honestly, we heard Calabriel, a trusted leaker who has said things way before they were actually confirmed and released. He knows what he's talking about. Calabriel confirmed that the game is more or less content complete. That means that at a functional state, the game is playable. Now they are working on the technical aspects right now. So like what we saw in the July reveal, a lot of things are working just fine. Although the lighting could be a lot better, the texturing could be a lot better. The effects in the world could look better. Those Minecraft walls and the clouds, things like that are probably going to be the forefront focus. But I still wonder, are they going to have enough time to release this game by March and April? In fact, I think we will know by December, because 343's plan was to market the game for 4 months before the game released, because the game was supposed to release on November 10th. All right, that was just a couple days ago. We should already be finished with the campaign pretty much at this point, assuming it's 8 to 12 hours long. So with that being said, I think that if the game is going to release in spring, it has to come. News has to come in January. And guys, if it doesn't come in December or January, then that's it. All right, it's gotta be a holiday release. And I'm going to tell you why, because he actually hints at it in this interview, and this is pretty much breaking news. All right, he said, And I said, sales are going to be dictated by supply this holiday. I know there will be press that will want to write Xbox launch lineup versus PS5 launch lineup. But if they're both sold out completely, I'm not sure the launch lineup had much impact on anything other than maybe some review score. It's not going to dictate what and how many consoles we sell. The number one thing that's going to dictate how many consoles we sell is not the competition, and it's not a Halo or a launch lineup. It's going to be how many units can we build. And we see that. Our pre-orders sold within hours, and that's true of the competition as well. There's a high demand for gaming consoles right now, and we're both going to build as many as we can. So I think the possibility of Halo Infinite launching beside Xbox was more of a brand and heartfelt moment for us than it was a critical thing to the launch. Right there, he's reaffirming that actually selling the Xbox Series X along with Halo was irrelevant as far as revenue goes, right? It's not going to break or make Xbox Series X, or probably even in this case, Halo, obviously, right? It's just a sentimental thing, and it's, for all intents and purposes, a practicality. It's just not really very important. He says, in fact, you could argue that holiday 2021 from a lineup is probably more important because from a competitive standpoint, both consoles, knock on wood, will have supply, so there will be a demand constraint rather than a supply constraint in the next year. So that's really, really important, guys. So essentially what he said here is that, look, the PS5, Sony, and Xbox, Microsoft, neither of us can produce enough consoles to meet demand. And that's probably because of everything that's been going on this year, right? Factories and facilities have been shut down, and there's just been a lot of working from home that could slow down things. It's just irregular for the industry, and everyone is just like behind, which makes sense, right? But next year, things might start lightening up. And, like the Halo TV show, people are already returning to work, kind of readjusting to this new world that we live in. And they are going to be pumping out more Xboxes, more PS5s. And by this time next year, there is going to be more than enough on the shelf, Xboxes and PS5s. And there's going to be exclusive. So, I think playing Halo Infinite on the Xbox Series X is going to be the best experience, and I think at least half of you would have to agree, right? PC might have some, good advancements on it, and Xbox One is going to look good enough, but I think that it's really important for us to play this on like the console that it was most likely built from the ground up for. Even though it's on other, platforms, this is what it's built for. So, holiday 2021, right there, he's talking about it's going to be important for us to potentially release this game. That's going to make more money next year rather than summer or spring. And honestly, from the industry, from 343 and Microsoft, we really haven't heard any teases at all about spring. And we already have at least one holiday 2021 tease and mention. And other than that, we have no idea when this game is releasing. And honestly, I'm almost kind of split right now. I have no idea if it's going to be holiday or spring, but I always imagined it was going to be holiday. But if you guys have any thoughts about this, let me know down in the comment section below if you have any theories as to what is going to happen next. And one last thing I almost forgot to mention is that this was spotted by Sean W. or maybe Juris Under, I don't know who, but they saw this image here which has Master Chief, a Funko Pop, holding what looks like a Cortana Funko Pop. And this is actually released a while ago, I think, with Master Chief with Cortana, so this isn't super shocking except for the fact that now it's being branded under Halo Infinite. So certainly there's been a lot of teasing that Chief and Cortana are going to be partners again, but he isn't wearing the Mark 7 armor, the armor that we've seen from Infinite, so this is probably just, I don't know, it's probably fake. But we did actually see a while ago with a Funko Pop leak that did turn out to be pretty much correct as far as, with the products that did release. But we saw Master Chief with someone called Vakra. And we know from Shadows of Reach, by the way, spoilers here, big spoilers, if you don't want to hear Shadows of Reach spoilers, is that Master Chief is encounters a sub-protocol of Cortana's sister. So, and that her name was Kalama, or Kalimi, or something, I don't know how to pronounce it, but Yeah, so that's something to think about. Guys, before you head out, be sure to snag yourself that free Halo audiobook. It's a quick sign up link down in the description. Anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. We discussed a lot here, and I'm actually going to be getting back into making mod videos and be changing things up, as you can tell, with music, and probably doing a little bit of live streaming here soon. All right, I'll catch you guys in the next one soon. All right, you take care. Peace.